Christ in you is the hope of glory. We are taking it lightly, but Paul is saying here that it is a mystery. It's a mystery. Something that was hidden. Something that people found it extremely difficult to understand some time ago. And I wonder whether we still understand it. Christ in you is the hope of glory. Because I believe that if you truly understand it, your life will change. Your faith in God will be solid. You can never be shaken by waves and storms, because that greatest one is in you. Christ in you is the hope of glory. It has been the desire of God always to dwell in people. That has been his desire. In fact, before creating Adam and Eve, he said that, let us create man in our own image. So he wanted to create human being in his own image. And certainly, he created human being in his own image. And then started fellowshipping with human beings. If you come to Genesis chapter 3, where the fall of man began, you realize that God was walking among them in the cool of the day. That means they were having fellowship, relationship with God. They could relate with God peacefully. There was nothing wrong about that one at all. And they were enjoying it. Until one day, the devil deceived them. Anytime I read the Bible and come to Genesis chapter 3, I become very, very worried. My worry is this. They were with their father. He was having fellowship with them. And they were enjoying it. Always, for a very long time. Until one day when a stranger comes in. And when the stranger came in, he was able to deceive them. Just few minutes. He was able to deceive them with, such a limited time. So they were not appreciating what the Father was giving to them. They rather appreciated what the stranger told them. And it happens often. You may be with your elders. You may be with your pastors. You may not cherish what they are giving to you. And if you are not careful, once you hear a stranger saying something, you may tend to believe what the stranger says instead of believing what your own family members, the father, the mother, the pastor, the elder is telling you. So that was very, very sad. They thought the stranger loved them more than the father. But the stranger was deceiving them. They had forgotten that they had been made in the image of the Father. And the Father loved them and wanted them to be happy. That is the desire of pastors and leaders. Wanting to see their people flourish and cherish. Wanting to see their people enjoying life, developing in the world, and becoming responsible citizens. Yet, sometimes they are being deceived by the evil one. So when that fellowship was broken, God had desire always to establish the fellowship and even go further than that. Yes, he wants to go further than the fellowship that he had with humanity in the Garden of Eden. That has been his desire. And if you examine the Bible, where the whole plan of redemption settles at God wanting to dwell in the hearts of people. That's the plan of redemption. Trying to establish that sort of relationship, fellowship with humanity. If, for instance, you jump to the time of Moses, you realize that when God wanted to move with the people of Israel, he told Moses that, make a tabernacle for me to dwell among you. He wanted them to make a tabernacle. And the purpose of the tabernacle was for God to dwell among them. So his focus was not on the making of the tabernacle, the construction of that tent. That was not his aim at all. So it was not a plan of God actually even to build a permanent temple. It wasn't his plan. The purpose of the tabernacle was just for the people to recognize that the invisible one, the Lord, was among them. That was the most important thing. So he has always desired to dwell among his people, and even to go further, to live in the hearts of his own people. Now, there's something that I like about Abraham, and I cherish it. You see, he has many titles, but I cherish one of the titles more than any of the titles. And I want one of the pastors to tell me, what title of Abraham do you think that I would like?
He was the friend of God.
He was the friend of God. Give him a big clap. The pastors are good. So you need to trust them, you see. The friend of God. I mean, that's one of the best titles I like in the Bible. Many, many titles. The prophet of fire. There are many, many, many of them. But this one, the friend of God. So God desired in Abraham to the point of making him a friend. And you know, friendship is very, very important. You can embrace a friend, shake hands with a friend, you can joke with a friend, and you can share your concerns with a friend. Sometimes you fear to share concerns with other people, because if you are not careful, they will expose you. But you can trust a friend that understands your weaknesses. So Abraham walked with God until he became a friend of God. So when James was talking about, he said that yes, Abraham was able to walk with the Lord until he became the friend of God. And friendship continues. Somebody becomes a friend of God, and then from friendship, you come to companionship. You become a companion of that person. You know, some people try to bring the difference between friendship and companionship, and I agree. You know, that companionship is that state of being friends. So once you live with a person, you reason with a person, and you become companions, then your things become similar. Your things become similar until you become like brothers, sharing the same blood, sharing the same thoughts and everything. So when you come to that state of companionship, your reasoning, your thinking, and everything becomes similar. Just like marriage. Once you are married to someone and you married well, you know, if it is a good marriage, not a bad one, and you are enjoying that marriage, you can get into the mind of your wife, and your wife can get into the mind of you. So that when you are not there, your wife can say that this is what my husband will say. And then when the wife is not there, the husband also will be able to know what the wife will say. You become identical. And sometimes even physically, it appears that you become closer, identical. You resemble each other. That is wonderful. The state of being friends. And when Abraham got to this state of friendship with God, when God wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he said, now Abraham has become my friend. shall I hide this thing from my friend? No, friends share ideas and secrets. So God decided to tell Abraham his plans. So if you become the friend of God and the companion of God and the brother of our Lord Jesus Christ, he will begin to share his secrets with you. Here, I'm not discouraging even prayer. I'm not discouraging prayer. But what I'm talking about is not a matter of prayer. You are already in that state. You are already in that relationship. So he orders your steps. He orders your steps. Whatever you are doing. He therefore disclosed his secrets to Abraham. And because they were friends, Abraham also said that, well, then if you are going to destroy it, then I can also intercede for the people. And he started interceding with God, communicating with God. If you get such a number of people, will you destroy it? He said, no. He said, all right, let me come down. So just dialoguing with a friend, I'm praying that you come to that sort of state where you begin to dialogue with Jesus. And not that sort of prayer where you have to blast him and you have to jump high and shout high before you think he would hear you. But that you can be in that state of awareness that God is with you. Jesus, you are my friend, my companion, brother, my guide who always leads me and orders my steps in your path. My guide who always leads me and orders my steps. Hallelujah. A friend guiding you, sharing with you, helping you, and assisting you, knowing your problems and challenges and helping you to meet them. That is Jesus, making him a friend, being with you. And that was Abraham. And that is how God orders the steps of his own people. Sometimes God will be speaking to you from a different angle. You may not understand it. And go ahead of him to attract troubles. But once you understand him, you know that he is indeed with you. There is something that I often share with the pastors. And I would like to share with you because of how it happened. When I was studying in the UK, and I had been invited by the Pentecostal Theologians Association, I was invited to come and conduct a devotion for them during their international conference in Birmingham. I decided to be with them for 2 days ahead of me in order to know how things were going on, to join them in their devotions. But one day it had snowed. And when I went to the bus stop, the snow was too much for me. I was finding the cold too strong. And I said in my heart, oh, if it would take me a long time to be here, then I should force and get a vehicle. I said to myself, because I was being beaten by the snow. Then when I came home in the evening, one white lady, poor, from the Elim Pentecostal churches, called me. Opoku, I've bought a vehicle, and I wonder if you would like to use it. And I said, let me think about it. So I thank her. Then after that, the toss came that, are you not the one who said that if you would keep long here, you will buy a vehicle? This is the vehicle that I want to give to you. One, I said I was thinking about it because she was a poor lady. And I didn't want a very bad vehicle that would give me challenges, because I had one and I asked it to be sold because it was giving me problems. So I didn't like such type of vehicle. But the Lord said that was the one He was providing. Now, after that, I discussed with my wife and told her the whole episode. The following day, I had not called. So she called back. Opoku, have you considered it? And I said, how long would you like me to use it? She said, until you live here. And I said, all right, then I'm coming to take it. And when I went, it was a years-old vehicle with comprehensive assurance. To the point that if it goes to servicing, another vehicle will be given to you. Jesus should become your friend. You wouldn't have to shout and go up and down before He hears you. He will order your steps and go ahead of you. So Abraham became a friend of God, where God had to share His secrets with him, and Abraham was able to communicate with him, intercede for those people who were in Sodom and Gomorrah. So the desire of God has always been to dwell in people.